Indiana's Department of Education is celebrating some good news when it comes to how well Hoosier kids are reading. The IDOE released the state's IREAD scores today.
This is the test that measures how well our students are reading by the end of third grade. And for the 5th year in a row, those scores are improving. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here to break it all down.
Well, nearly 89% of Hoosier third graders passed this year's IREAD test. That means 1 in 9 didn't, though. That is thousands of Hoosier kids still struggling to read by the end of third grade. But with these results, there are schools showing progress, and we heard today from some about what's working. Behind the numbers that show how well Indiana's third graders are reading are real kids with stories about what it took for them to pass this year's IREAD test.
Success didn't happen just in 1 year.
Tuesday, the Indiana Department of Education heard some of those stories, like the one from St. Anthony's Catholic School in downtown Indianapolis. Its student population 99% Hispanic, with some students still learning to speak English. Last year, a little over half of the school's third graders passed IREAD. This year, they all did, 100%.
Our students understood exactly what that meant. They knew that they put in the work and they knew the result that they had achieved.
It's the kind of success story Indiana's Secretary of Education, Dr. Katie Jenner, hopes to keep telling at more schools across Indiana.
You're going to see us very, very focused on the schools that maybe haven't seen the movement like we heard from some of the schools today.
State leaders say they already know some of the strategies making a difference. Early screening, with second graders also taking the IREAD exam, so teachers can spot those who are struggling and get them reading help sooner. There's also a program for teachers that coaches them how to teach reading. Right now, 770 schools are part of that program called Indiana's Literacy Cadre, funded by both the state and the Lilly Endowment.
We'll be working in the months ahead with the General Assembly and private funders to try to continue that support for our schools who are saying, hey, it's working, let's keep it going.
Jenner didn't say Tuesday if she'd had any discussions with lawmakers about funding heading into next year's legislative session, where the state's next 2-year budget will be decided. Only that she's seen support on both sides of the aisle when it comes to the progress Indiana's made in third graders reading.
Everyone wants kids to succeed.
Now, coming up tonight at 6, we'll break down the state's latest ILEARN scores. That is a test given to Hoosier kids in grades 3 through 8. That test has seen some big changes this year. I'll explain coming up. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Now, one area where the state is still lagging is in college readiness. 52% of Indiana high school juniors got college-ready marks for reading and writing on the SAT. The numbers were even worse, though, in math, with only 26% being college-ready. The state's most recent goal was to have 60% of students getting higher degrees by last year.